Hi everyone, I've got another video on spreadsheets here for you. I'm going to be demonstrating a little bit about some simple mathematics. So I'm going to be doing addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And I'm going to show you a little bit of formatting things as well. How to merge cells, do colors, things like that. So it's not going to be a long video, just a few things to demo here. So I've got a brand new Google Sheet here. It's a spreadsheet here. You can do the same exact thing in Excel, but I'm going to use Google Sheets today. And at the top, I'm just going to type in item and then price. And I'm just going to put some items in again. So let's just say I've got some pants, I got a shirt, jacket, shoes, and I don't know, a hat. So I've got some items here. I'm going to give them some prices. The prices really don't matter, but let's say the pants were $45.99. Shirt is going to be $32.75. The jacket, $125. The shoes were $79, and the hat is $38, something like that. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn these into currency, just because we're working with money. I like to keep mine consistent as long as it's money. If it's not money, I don't have to worry about doing that, but it is money, so I am going to do that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a subtotal. I want to basically get the total of this. So the subtotal is going to equal to, so over here I'm going to go equals sum bracket. I want to sum up all of these values. So I just click and highlight them, I close the bracket and hit enter, and there is my subtotal. Now what I want to do in this video is I want to actually I want to put in a 10% discount. So in this case my discount should be about $32.07. That's what 10% is of this. So let's show you how you do that. So I'm going to write 10% discount here. And the formula for that is going to equal, so put equals, and I'm going to click this cell right here. So it's going to be B8. You could also type B8 if you want, but I find it easier just to click it. So it's going to be B8 times, and the times is the star. So I'm hitting Shift 8. That's a star, and that's the multiplication sign. So I'm going to multiply by 0.10. That is 10% of this number. So if you take a look at the equation, it's equal to B8, which is this cell right here, times, which is a star, 0.1. That gives me my discount amount. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my final price after discount. Sorry. So I wanted to show you subtraction here. Now that's starting to get cut off. You can see how it's kind of going over there. I'm just going to stretch this out just a bit here. So you go up between the A and the B, and once it turns into like a little arrow, you can pull it and stretch it wider if you need to. Okay, so I want to take away this discount away from the subtotal so I get a cheaper amount. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to go equals B8 minus B10. So I can just click them, which is nice, or I can type them in if I want, but I usually don't do that. And there is my new amount. Now, I do know that I could have just taken this number and multiplied by 0.9. That would have given me the final amount as well, but it doesn't show you the discount. So I wanted to show you the discount amount and then the final amount. Okay, now let's just get the final amount. We're going to add taxes, and then we'll get the final amount. So tax in Canada is 13%. So the formula for that one is going to equal to my price after my discount times 0.13. There's my taxes, so it's $37.53, and final total. The final total is going to equal to the price after the discount plus the taxes, and there you go. Okay, so it's B12 plus B14 in mine. So B12 and then there's B14. Add them together, that gets you your final total. Okay, now that is, you know, your addition, multiplication, subtraction. I didn't do division. I'll just give you a quick demo of how to do division. Let's say I've got a restaurant bill. This is like almost like a separate example here. Restaurant bill, and imagine it came to $95. And I'm going to split this up 4 ways. So we're going to say bill per person. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that bill and divide it by 4. So that's a scenario. Scenario is I went for supper, my bill is 95 bucks. I want to split it up 4 ways. So the way I would do that is I would go equals E2 divided by 4. And divide is a slash. So it's the one that's underneath the question mark. Okay, so it's a front slash. So if I do that, that will divide the number by 4. So if you look at the slash, that's division in typically in a spreadsheet. In almost every computer application, the slash like that means division. So I've shown you all of the basic operations here, plus they've used the sum command. I just want to show you a little tiny bit more about some formatting things now. So let's say I want to make like, you know what, maybe this final total, I want that to stand out because that is, you know, the big things to look at. I'm going to highlight these 2 cells right here. And we're going to go with a different color here, so it just sort of jumps out a bit more. Let's use green. Okay, so you can do things like that. You can make things bold. If we want to make this bold here, we can do that. And we could even make these larger fonts as well, if I wanted to. So make them a little bit bigger so that they automatically stand out for me. You can do other things as well. You can do alternating colors, which is really cool. I don't know if you've seen that before, but let's remove the colors off of here. Reset all this. But alternating colors is really cool. So you highlight your stuff, and you go under Format and Alternating Colors. If you do that, and you pick color schemes inside of here, you can make your spreadsheet look very, very professional. So it's really simple. You just highlight the area you want the alternating colors to show up in, and you go to Format, Alternating Colors, and it looks really, really neat. And it's easier to follow sometimes because you know you can see the rows very, very clearly because they're alternating colors, right? So that's a really cool feature in Google Sheets. Centering things. Say, for example, I want this column, instead of being right aligned like it did here, I want it center aligned. We can change that very easily. Can center align things like that. Sometimes it looks better that way. Sometimes it doesn't. It's all sort of a preference. I want to show 2 more things. Number 1 is how to merge cells, and the next one is going to be text wrapping. Okay, so let me give you an example maybe over here. So if I had a really long thing and I said something like the cost to operate a business per day, something like that. And what it's doing right here is the cell H1 right here, there's actually nothing in it. If you look right here, there's nothing there. If you look at G1 though, that's the information that's in there, but it's kind of long. It's bleeding into the next one. Okay, so it's sort of like it's going outside the box here. There's a couple ways I could deal with it. I could do this and stretch it out, but then every single cell below it looks kind of weird, like it's kind of stretched out, right? So sometimes what will happen is I want this to be multi-lined inside of one box. So to do that, what I would do is click this, and I go under Format, and look for something called text wrapping. Now text wrapping right now, it says it's set for overflow, which means it's going to go into column H. It's overflowing onto here. If we do clip, it just sort of cuts it off. It's still there, but it's cut off, okay? It makes it kind of hard to read. But sometimes you want to use this. Text wrapping, you want to wrap. Okay, what that'll do is it'll put multiple lines and fit it inside that box. It does make the row wider, which sometimes may or may not be an issue. It depends on how you want it to look. But that is something you could do if you needed to. You could do text wrapping. But let's say, maybe I don't like that text wrapping because I don't like the way that showed up, right? Let's go back to overflow. What I could do is I can actually merge cells together as well. I could highlight 2 cells, highlight them, and go to Format, Merge Cells. And I can merge horizontally or I can merge them all. It doesn't really matter in this case. And what will happen is this is now one big cell. These are individual cells, and that's one solid cell. So I still have the text wrapping issue because it's kind of cut off. So let's text wrap it. But it looks a little bit better. Maybe I would center align it so it doesn't look as bad, but that is now a merged cell with text wrapping in it. Not something you're going to use all the time, but you know, it does come in handy sometimes. The only thing to be careful with merging is I would really caution, don't merge the individual cells with numbers in them. You can do it like for labels and things like that. I don't really find it too much of an issue. But if you have like a bunch of cells that are merged, like say I have some numbers here and I go like 6, 7, 8, right? And then I highlight these and then I merge them. Okay, merge them like this. So I'm just going to merge. I'm just showing you a demo here. The problem with these cells that they're merged is that it's actually a bit harder to sort of wrap your head around the location of it. It's like this one right here, okay? I know this is E2, that's no problem. That is cell E2. This one, though, is actually cell E7. So if I want to say equals this cell right here, if I click it, look, it's actually E7. It's always the upper left corner, which is, in this case, is cell E7. So I'll just multiply by 2, it gives you 12, right? But sometimes people get confused. So if you have merged cells with numbers, I would try to avoid those if you can. Not so big of a deal if you're going to merge labels like this one, but numbers I would not have in merged cells. Now say you screwed up, these are merged, right? I want to unmerge them. You can do that as well. Go to merge cells and you can unmerge and you can undo all of that. That's not a big deal. So again, I went over a few things here. I showed you how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. I did a little bit about alternating colors, different colors, fonts. We did alignment, talked about merging cells, text wrapping. So a lot of little tricks and tips in this video. And hopefully it's something you can use in a future spreadsheet and make it look really professional. Last thing I would do, just like any other spreadsheet, make sure you give it a name here. I'm going to call this lesson 2. And that is pretty much it. Always make sure you name your stuff. Make sure that you know what it is. And yeah, just a few little tips and tricks for working in Google Sheets and spreadsheets.